Okay, we're going to kick off. Welcome to Lean Startup Melbourne again. First up, we're going to go through the sponsors before we kick off. So the sponsors are the people who provide the beer and the pizza. Blue Chili. Who's heard of Blue Chili? A few hands. If you've been here before, I hope you have. So Blue Chili, if you don't have any tech skills, will actually help you build your startup for you. So if you're a business person and you're looking for a technical co-founder, Blue Chili can actually provide that service for you. They're in Sydney, but if you want to hook up with them, drop me an email and I can connect you with Seb. So Blue Chili sponsor the beer. Okay. Suitable applause. We have another sponsor this month. We've got General Assembly. So General Assembly is Sydney-based, but they want you up there. So what General Assembly are offering for you? Excuse me. A totally new model for learning how to become a hacker. So who is not a hacker? So General Assembly can teach you to become a coder, and they can do that in 12 weeks. That's their claim. They do a 12-week full-time program from 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. It's in Sydney, but they will pay your airfares from Melbourne to Sydney and back again if you want to go to General Assembly. We had flyers on the desk, so if you saw a flyer, pick that up. There's posters around for General Assembly, and we will send out the details on email post-event. Startup Leadership Program Melbourne are also sponsoring the beer, so give this man a big round of applause. Grant Downey is going to come up and talk about Startup Leadership Program.
Thank you, everyone. I believe there's still plenty of beer, so keep the applause coming. Startup Leadership Program. As Scott just said, my name is Grant Downey, and I'm just announcing Startup Leadership Program is a global program for founders and CEOs of early stage ventures, really designed to develop their general management skills, basically. We ran the program for the first time in Australia last year, which was September to February. I have at least one graduate of the program here. Troy, if you could pop your hand up for me. I'm not sure, is there anyone? Dan, Mumby, anyone? No. So there's at least Troy here tonight who went through the program last year. We're just about to open applications again for the coming year, early June. There'll be a link to the website sent out post-event. If you're interested in being involved in a program that runs for about 16 weeks, total of about 60 hours, the curriculum includes topics such as ideation, gamification, we had business model canvas, we had term sheets and a term sheet comp. People from out of the term sheet comp, one of our fellows has gone on to raise a few $100,000 at what he considers to be quite favourable terms. So very practical. We had a couple of people from the Masters of Entrepreneurship and Innovation also say they felt that the Startup Leadership Program was quite practical. So if you're interested in a practical program, talk to Troy tonight, find out a bit about how it went over the last year, and then also go to the website when the link comes out in the email. Also, you can come and talk to me tonight as well. But go to the website if you're interested in signing up. It's by application, so we'll ask you for a CV and an application letter at the time, early June. Enjoy your beer.
Thank you, sir. All right, two quick more sponsors. We've got Lucas. Do you want to stick your hand up, Lucas? Lucas is awesome. Lucas does the video every month from Kussowski Brothers, and I'll send out the links to Lucas's company. If you want video or social media creation, you need to see that man there. And the final one, Inspire 9. Thank you for the great space. Inspire 9 provide this space for free every month. And last one, so if you have a startup and you're actually recruiting, you're looking to hire, hit me up and we're happy to announce it on a night like this. So if Lenny, you want to come up and talk about your Founders Apprentice program, so I'll quickly hand over to Lenny and then you can jump on the panel.
Hi, I'm Lenny. I work at the SitePoint group of companies, which includes 99 Designs and Flipper.com, and we are constantly kind of working on new stuff. So we've got a few projects that are kind of not making as much progress as they would if there was some Founders Apprentice type people around. So the Founders Apprentice program is 3 months working with myself or Mark Harbottle, working on a modest salary, doing all the things that need to get done at an early stage startup, with a view to having a great experience on your part and getting making some progress with one of the things that we have in the works. So if you're interested, drop me a line, send me an email at lenny@learnable.com or tweet me on lenny.lenidot on Twitter.
Thank you. So now I'm going to hand over to Mark. We're going to get into the fun stuff. So we've got 6 companies to pitch. We've got a great panel here to judge the pitches. I'm going to hand over to Mark.
Thanks, mate. We missed. My name's Mark. I'm part of Lean Startup Melbourne. Thank you. We missed the sponsor Amiel from Playfi, who's doing all the streaming. This conference is, tonight's being streamed over the web. They can host thousands of people to watch your conference. So it's Playfi is the company. First of all, I'll introduce our panel. To my right is John Dyson, founder and investment principal at Starfish Ventures. I'll let you say a few words, John.
Thanks, Mark. It's fantastic to be here tonight, and it's great to see such a strong turn-up, and it's wonderful to see that entrepreneurship and innovation is alive and well in inner Melbourne. I work for Starfish Ventures, which is a venture capital group just based in East Melbourne, so not very far from here. So it's great to be here tonight, and I appreciate the opportunity to be on the panel.
Great applause for John. He's got the money. And next is Jordan Green, founder and president of Melbourne Angels. Jordan?
Thanks, Mark. And look, thanks very much for having me here. I'm looking forward to an interesting evening. Melbourne Angels are interested to hear from anyone who's got an exciting opportunity. We're the only organised angel group in Melbourne, and we look forward to supporting all of you, or those of you we can afford to, through to being great success stories. Thank you.
Thanks, Jordan. And next is Stuart Richardson, founder and managing partner at Venture Capital.
Thanks, Mark. It's a great opportunity, and certainly, as I guess, echoing the comments from the fellow panel members, fantastic to see somewhere in the vicinity of 350 people registered, and hopefully somewhere in that same vicinity here tonight. So, if you're looking for a co-working space, the York Butter Factory is another alternative space to come and check out when you're thinking about taking the next steps. And certainly, if you're looking for venture funding, then we'd love to chat to you at a venture capital at the right time.
Thanks, Stuart. Round of applause for Stuart. And next is Lenny Mayo, angel investor and a busy boy, board member of 99 Designs, SitePoint, Flipper, Learnable. Lenny?
Just to set the record straight, I don't have anything more to do with 99 Designs anymore. I'm still an investor, but I don't serve on the board anymore. But anyway, it looks like it's going to be a good night.
Fair enough. Last but not least, Adrian Stone, angel investor and co-founder of Angel Cube, which I'm sure you've all heard of.
G'day. Angel Cube actually was a startup 3 years ago, and we pretty much got our start at one of these events. So I have a lot of good ties to the Lean Startup event. And by the way, this space is great. My desk is right back there. Come have a beer with me sometime.
Well done. Round of applause. All right, am I doing the slides? I'm sorry?
We'll set up the slides, get out from Tableau.
Okay, sure. All right, on to the pitches, ladies and gentlemen. There is some prizes tonight, which is a coffee meeting with one of the panel members of your choice. We're actually going to matchmake you as well. And there's also Jason Su Hoy, COO of 99 Designs. Jason, are you here? There he is, over there. And also a chat with Jason to share their wisdom. First up is a company called Tableau, and the man's name is Ash. Tableau describes themselves as a simple creation of ebooks with one-click publishing to the iBook store. Would you like to come up, Ash?
So if I click there, it should go forward. Ah, I like that. Okay. We good?
We're good.
So hello everyone, my name is Ashley. I'm the founder of Tableau, and today I'd like to talk to you all about the current state of the self-publishing industry and how we're about to shake things up. So Tableau, in short, makes it incredibly easy for authors to create beautiful ebooks, and the slides and share them with the world. So we've taken a radically different approach to ebook creation and publishing that's unlike anything else out there in the industry. And I strongly believe this is going to change the publishing industry, kind of like how WordPress changed the online publishing space. So what is the problem? The problem is that the ebook industry is very technical and authors are not. It took me 6 months to create and publish my book on the iBook store. I'm an author. I've always loved the world of publishing, but the world of online publishing is so complex and so convoluted that I almost gave up in the middle of the process. Here's a sort of expanded list of all the problems that you'll face. Formatting is a bitch. There are different formats for all these kinds of devices. There's EPUB, there's Mobi. They're all sort of wrapped HTML files. They're awful to work with. And don't even think about uploading your document to a conversion engine because the output is almost always crap. If you want to publish on Apple or Amazon, you need to be a US citizen. Anyone outside of the US needs US tax details, tax file numbers, and US bank accounts, which shuts the door immediately to a world of great authors. And you need ISBNs for every title, and every single step takes a lot of time. 6 months it took me. So here's how we're solving those problems. We're starting with the best ebook creation tool in the world. Here it is, it's called the Bookmaker. You can build your books in the cloud. You can type or paste your text there, format them, add images, control your structure on the left, and when you hit publish, not only do you get a perfect ebook file, but it sends it out to some of the world's major ebook stores. So we offer one-click publishing to the iBook store from anywhere in the world to make sure that you have a great audience for all of your content. We also provide authors with a beautiful book management interface called the Authors Center so that you can publish and manage and update all of your work online, as well as a sales dashboard to show you just what books are selling, where they're selling, and get a great overview of your book's performance. So think of Tableau as WordPress for ebooks. You can build your content in the cloud, and when you hit publish, like in WordPress, how you get a website, with Tableau, you get an ebook on some of the world's major ebook stores. Here's a sort of overview of our competition. We've got two major competitors, Smashwords and BookBaby. Smashwords is the market leader. They've published over 100,000 books last year alone, but their business model is prime for disruption. So Smashwords asks you to read a 100-page formatting guide and read through all of your Word documents, format them, upload them to something that they call the meat grinder, and then you get churned out an ebook. So if you look at this sort of noughts and crosses type graph, they're not very easy to use because you've got to read all the formatting guides. It's not very reliable, but it is flexible, it's all in your control, and it's a very scalable approach. BookBaby is the other competition. They ask you to pay $50 and then they will outsource the file for conversion. And you can see that it's very easy, you just bounce the file off. It's very reliable, the output is always good, but it's not very flexible. You've got to pay to update your files, and it's not a scalable approach. Tableau, by contrast, create and publish your books in the cloud. Guess what? 4 ticks. It's incredibly easy to use. It's incredibly reliable. The output is always perfect. It's a very flexible system. It's all in your hands, and it's a very scalable approach. And boy, does Tableau have traction. We have growing customer base, and they absolutely love us. Our customers already span more than 30 countries, and the average customer is worth more than $250. So this is a global business, and we've got great traction to begin with. Plus, we've got the support of Apple. Apple has let Tableau integrate directly with their systems to fully automate publishing and offer authors so much more, which is something typically reserved for major publishing companies. So that's a great milestone to have. So the approach of Tableau is very simple. We're taking a complicated world, the world of e-publishing, we're simplifying it, and then we're putting it into the hands of authors. So Tableau will not just be changing the self-publishing space, but we're preparing a product that's going to introduce a whole new world of great authors. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the presentation.
Just stay there a second and I'll ask the panel some questions. Pretty good, hey? Pretty good. John, would you have any questions for Ash?
Yeah, a couple of comments before I go to the question, if that's okay.
Sure.
Ashley, I thought it was a great presentation. I really liked the passion, and I liked how you introduced yourself as an author, and you did that very subtly, I thought, which was fantastic. And I also thought it was great how you highlighted what the problem was and what you were trying to solve. So you really identified what the market opportunity was for you, and then you explained it clearly and what you did about it and talked about the competition. It's amazing how many opportunities we see every day where people just don't talk about the competition. You know, they think they're unique in the market and they think they've got the best offering without doubt. And it was great that you did some type of matrix where you compared where you were when you're with the competitors. So that was really good. The only question which I had was, you know, how do you go out and win customers? You know, what's the go-to-market? You've got some customers, that's great, but how do you go out and get 10,000 customers or 100,000 customers?
So authors love to talk with other authors. There's a festival on right now called the Emerging Writers Festival, and Melbourne is one of the world's 2 cities of literature, so we're in a great place to be working on a startup like this. So the Emerging Writers Festival, for example, it's full of young, aspiring authors, 13,000 of them who gather for 10 days every year to talk about books and writing. Tableau is a major partner of this year's festival, so we're sharing the idea with as many young authors as possible. So one of the approaches that we're taking to acquire customers is to go to these groups, to promote Tableau amongst these authors groups and hopefully find some great traction there.
Jordan, any comments or questions?
Well, yeah, again, a good presentation, definitely. I guess the question I'd like to understand is how special is the technology? So you said you've done something with Apple, which they haven't let a lot of other people do, but how defensible and reliable is that technology going forward? And how much does it apply outside Apple?
So the approach we've taken is different to the approaches out there, and what we've built now is a platform. So we've built the bookmaker, and there's a lot more that we can do with this. It's different. It's been challenging to create, certainly, and we're working now to integrate with other services, so blogs to let you put in a web address and create a book from your blog, and we're looking to expand to more services like Amazon as well. So what we've created now is quite an innovative solution. It's been very challenging to put together, and we're now looking to integrate and broaden the scope. So it's not just authors that we're approaching, but bloggers and people who want to write in general. So in answer to your question, then, the software itself is special in that it's very innovative. There's been a lot of hard work to build the interface, and beyond Apple, we see, you know, a product that can introduce the world of writing to a whole world of authors and to a world of different publishing services. So hopefully that answers your question.
Well done. Stuart, any comments or questions?
Yeah. Good presentation. I certainly agree with the other guys on the panel. In terms of $250 per customer, how much does it A, cost you to acquire one of those customers, and B, I guess, you know, what's the lifetime value, and how did you actually calculate that number of $250?
So unfortunately, I don't know sternly the answer to your first question in regards to customer acquisition costs. We know it's around the region of $70 to $80, but we are yet to really find online the marketing channel where we can acquire those figures in a solid way. But it is less than $250. I can share that much with you. In regards to the lifetime value of the customer, a lot of authors seem to publish 3 books on average. So they are repeat users. The author who's published the most has published 200 books so far, but there are a world of authors who have published 1 book who are now asking, can we publish another? So they are repeating the use of the service over time. $250, that figure is made up of the average of each customer's purchase through Tableau. So it could increase over time. Authors tend to have maybe a 2 or 3 month cycle between publishing, so it's still a figure we're trying to work out, but it's certainly something that we seem to have a grasp on now.
Okay. Glennie.
Just to echo everyone else, Ash, great pitch. Very polished and almost a sense that it's finished, which begs the question, what is the next question that you're answering in terms of this startup?
Answer a question with a question.
It's a very lazy question, Lenny. The question that I hope to ask is, what is there beyond publishing? At the moment, the market that we're addressing is authors, people who want to write, people who want to publish. But I see the potential with a platform like this to enable a world of new authors. So the question that I would hope to be asked at one point is, what's next for Tableau? And my answer to that would be integration with a world of other services, and really a product that's tailored to a world of other kinds of writers, not just authors with Word documents.
I'll ask Adrian.
Firstly, I have to say fantastic pitch, fantastic founder. I've got two questions really. Are you part of an incubator? And the second question would be, what's the biggest business problem facing you right now, given that you don't have a co-founder?
Angel Cube, maybe.
Angel Cube is my incubator, and might I say they're a great-looking group as well. The biggest challenge is building a team at the moment. It's a process that I'm going through now. I'm a solo founder. I work with a developer, but I haven't got a full-time team.
So you're looking for a tech?
I'm now looking for a tech co-founder. I should make that announcement here. So the challenge at the moment is building the product beyond one person, and it's tough. It's like dating, but it's a process that I'm in the midst of now, and hopefully there'll be a good resolution there soon.
Well done. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Ash from Tableau. Well done. And thanks to the panel as well. Next up, we've got Tom from Pet Homestay. If you've got a pet, you know when you go away on holidays and you need somebody to look after that pet. Well, Pet Homestay build themselves as the Airbnb for pets, an online marketplace that matches pet owners with trusted local pet boarding opportunities. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Tom.
Thanks very much, guys, and I hope you'll forgive this blatant attempt to win you over with cuteness on the first slide there. Oh, thanks. So my name's Tom DeGrice. I'm here to talk to you about Pet Homestay and how we can help make it really easy for you to find somewhere to board your pet in a real home. Click. There we go. So the problem we're trying to solve is that although people love their pets, they've got busier and busier and busier lives, and that's taking more and more time out of their ability to care for their pets. Work, family, travel, lean startups that people are trying to build all take up that time that you would spend looking after your pet. In conjunction with this, pets have really moved over the last number of years to being a real part of the family. People really care about their pets a lot more than they used to, and they're willing to spend an awful lot more money on them. In fact, the amount of spend on pet care has gone up by over 44% over the last 5 years. People now spend on average $1,200 a year per pet. The fastest growing sector of that is the pet care sector. And I don't think any one of us who is actually a pet owner really, really enjoys dropping their dog off, leaving them in a cage for 2 weeks while they go away on holiday, yeah? I don't think anyone enjoys that. So what's the solution? The solution's Pet Homestay. It's a social community platform for pet boarding. Or, to put it a very short way, it's Airbnb for pets. It's super simple. You can go online, put in your postcode, and you can find all the pet sitters near you. You inquire, book, and rate other people near you, and you pay them through the site. Our business model is exactly the same as Airbnb. We look to clip the ticket per transaction. It costs absolutely nothing to join. Either to register yourself as a pet owner or indeed to register yourself as a homestay if you want to earn some extra money in your spare time whilst you're busy coding at home with your lean startup. And we've obviously got some future potential channels of upselling people into professional subscriptions and complementary services around insurance, pet food, pet accessories, and so on and so forth as we go. In terms of the actual market that we're trying to hit here, the statistics that we're banking on is one of the alternatives, which is obviously the amount spent on kennels. That's 448 million per year in 2009. That equates to about 13.6 million nights a year of dog boarding alone, just in Australia. And that is the market that we're trying to hit. However, there is also a large industry analysis around, actually people don't take their dogs to kennels first, they ask friends and family first. So there's a very large grey area that we're also trying to hit, which lets us think that the real market is about 20 to 25 million nights a year of boarding in Australia. Is this a risky business model? Not really. There's two alternative businesses that have just started up in the US in the last year. One's called DogVacay, one's called Rover.com. Both have had over $10 million of venture capital invested in them in the last year. I personally have reached out and Skyped with both the CEOs of both these companies, and they've been fantastic around helping us identify some of the pitfalls in the pet care industry. What's our traction been like? We've been really trying to focus on building great homestays. So we spent a lot of time building to 100 homestays in Melbourne. That was the target that we really wanted to hit initially, 100 homestays. When we did that, we did a media release that got picked up by the Herald Sun, the Leader magazines, and on Prime News, and our user numbers went up. And since then, we've been scaling quite well. And we did another event at the Dog Lovers Show a couple of weeks ago, if anyone was there and saw us. We now have 190 homestays in Melbourne. So if you have a pet, have a look. There's probably at least a couple near you that you can take advantage of. One of the fantastic things about the site is about 85% of the stays that we've delivered to date, 85% have rated those as 5-star experiences for both the owner and the sitter, and that's with absolutely zero touch interaction from us in that transaction, purely between those two. That's just a couple of the nice articles. Just a couple of stats. So one of the really important things to us over the last 6 months is really trying to understand our marketplace and who our audience really is. One of the stats which really surprised me is that 80% of our user base is women. That's because our average user is between 28 and 35. They have kids. They book the travel when they go away on holiday, and they are the person that books the kennel. They are the people that book pet care. Another interesting fact is that 12% of our sitters will do it for absolutely nothing, just because they love pets. So compared to paying $50 to take them to a kennel, there's actually 12%, or about 20 pet stays around Melbourne that will look after your dog for free if you can find them. We're building out a great team between myself, a couple of the other founders, both of board and advisors that can help us on this journey. And what are we looking for today? We're specifically looking to raise some seed money in the near future. We have an investment deck and financials ready to go once we start talking to the right people. We're specifically looking for investors with insurance contacts that can help us craft some insurance policies for our user base. That's really important to us. And obviously we're looking for some pet-loving developers who are interested in those skills, that want to bring their pet to work and help us make life easier, cheaper and simpler for other pet sitters. Obviously we're using those funds to grow quicker and faster. So that's me. Thanks very much. Thanks very much for your time and coming here today. Look us up on Pet Homestay if you own a pet. Let's help you make your life a bit easier and cheaper. Thanks.
Well done, Tom. You seem to know your market very well. John, any comments or questions?
I thought it was fantastic, and I had a chance to speak to Tom before, so I think it's a really impressive idea. I've followed the two companies in the US, so I understand what the model is. Have you thought about broadening the product? Like I assume at the moment dogs or cats get dropped off at people's homes. Have you thought about actually offering a service where people come into the owner's home? So rather than dropping a dog off, people come and stay there as house sitters as well as pet looker afterers?
Yep. Yeah, sure. So we have about 90% of our homestays today are actually you drop your pet off at their house. About 10% of our sitters are professional pet sitters, and they are required to tick that they are a professional pet sitter on the site, and they will come into your house. We wanted to specifically stay slightly away from that model to begin with, because when you start inviting people into your house, there's obviously that much more liability and risk involved, and it's a lot safer to start off on the purely leaving pets at somebody else's house in the short term. But absolutely, once we start getting into those professional pet homestay subscriptions, then absolutely we'll be able to back those people with the right validation and liability factors that they'll need. Thanks.
Sure. Jordan?
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Tom. That was a good presentation. And I guess your slide where you were talking about your investors was actually touched on the question I wanted to ask, which is the insurance situation. So there's obviously the liability that you guys face in terms of providing the service, but more importantly, your customers who are offering the stay are going to face some significant risks about the pets that they're taking care of. So do you have any idea how you're going to be able to cover that off?
Yep, and that's exactly what we want to discuss with the investor with Insurance Connections. So we actually have worked with an insurance broker to craft a brand new insurance policy that we're looking specifically for an underwriter to help us with that. There's actually 2 companies that provide pet care insurance in New Zealand today. One, professional pet sitter insurance, should I say. One's called QBE, the other one's underwritten by Allianz. And we've gone and talked to both of them, and they're quite happy with their established market. Thank you very much. So we're looking to disrupt those guys, and we're looking to take the fight to them a bit.
Well done. Stuart.
So in terms of your team, can you talk a little bit further about the team? For us as investors, we certainly look at founding team DNA as a very, very strong contributor to team success and entrepreneurial success.
So the founding team, I could probably go back to a bit. So the founding team is myself and my partners. We're the majority owners at the moment. I guess I bring the marketing and the hustle, which is why I'm here tonight. She brings some of the governance factors, so she's an Australian qualified director in the biotechnology industry. We also have a legal person as one of our founding shareholders who does our legals and advice for us. Tim, who's in the bottom left, is he's the treasurer or ex-treasurer of the Australian Animal Companion Association, so he brings very deep pet care industry and contacts and networks with him. And Grant in the top left's on our advisory committee, who's currently manager of Edelman, who's a marketing firm in Melbourne. So that's where we're at. Clearly there's room for a couple of developers in there. To date we have paid for them to build the site and to build the beta out. I guess we're looking for someone who can provide that fantastic expertise there. Certainly if an investor wanted to put some investment in but also bring their own technical people, hey, we're open to that too.
Mr. Mayo.
One of the things I really like about the problem you're working on is that there's a sort of homogeneity of interest, like people sort of identify themselves as a pet owner, both the sitters and also the kind of people who want to have their animal looked after. So that's great for word of mouth, and it doesn't surprise me that you're getting good word of mouth things. So I think that's a really positive thing about your business. Airbnb found that when they got professional photographers into the houses, it really drove interest on people who were interested in staying at houses. So what's the equivalent for that in pet homestay?
I'm not sure, but yeah, you're absolutely right. I think, like I said in the presentation, that the quality of care is the most important thing, and being able to display that and demonstrate that is a really hard thing to do. I actually got an Airbnb guy around my house and asked the photographer how much it cost, and Airbnb pay them $50 per time they actually photograph someone's house, which we can't do yet. But I think one of the things we want to do is try and help people to understand, take pictures with your iPhone, take pictures with your mobile phone, try and display yourself in such a way that you encourage people to look after you. Like, we ask people to put photos of themselves and their pet on the site so that people can see that they do actually love pets. So we do those kind of things, but yeah, it's a great aspect.
And last, Adrian.
Good pitch, Tom. Good pitch.
I'm not an accelerator.
Kidding. Couple of things, as we covered before, with all collaborative consumption type of startups, I think risk is the number one thing that you probably not need to address. Insurance only goes part of the way to deal with that. So I think part of it might be good photography of situations, giving people comfort when they go in there. For insurance, talk to Hollard Insurance, Hollard. Okay. Oh, well, I'll get you back in there.
Sure. Anything further to say, Tom?
Not really. I guess if I'm given the opportunity, I'll do some research. How many people here own pets tonight? Is there many pet owners? Fair few pet owners. How many people have would use Pet Homestay to help them next time they are interested in looking after the pet rather than a kennel? Cool. Hook yourselves up. Sign us up.
I've got one question. Imagine if you were John Dyson or Jordan Green, would you invest in Tom's business? Show of hands. Come on, if you had unlimited funds. You're Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, not bad. There you go. Well done.
Thanks very much, guys.
Round of applause, please. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, is Troy from Caremonkey. We all care about our friends and our family. So Caremonkey bills itself as an online application for storing and sharing important health and safety information with people that you trust. Over to you, Troy.
Thank you. Got a little...
Okay.
Well, hi everybody. I'm Troy Westley, and together with my business partner Martin Howe, we head the Caremonkey team. So every day, all over the world, schools and sporting clubs take responsibility for the health and safety of millions and millions of children. And along with their... What am I doing wrong here, boys? You better show me what I'm doing wrong, Ryan.
Just this one. Just push that one.
Did you get that? So we've got millions and millions of children being taken care of by sporting clubs and schools every single day. And along with their moral obligation to take good care of these kids, they also have a very real legal obligation, and that's their duty of care. Now, as part of their risk management strategy, they'll collect medical information. And if you're a parent of school-aged children, like I am, you'll know about this, medical forms. And we seem to be getting millions of forms to fill in. It's the same thing over and over again, regardless of whether it's at the start of the school year, excursions, sports days, band camp. There's just millions of forms, and we've got to keep filling in the same thing. And this is a big problem and a big headache for the schools as well, because they have to continually print forms, distribute them, collect them, sort them, and file them. And why is that? It's because the forms go out of date very quickly and there could be incomplete information. So they continue to send out lots of more forms. But does that really make the kids a lot safer? Well, according to the school principals and club presidents we've spoken to, there's still huge risk. And that's because the teachers, coaches and other officials usually don't have access to those forms. So in an emergency situation, they don't know what to do or who to call. And this leads to lost time, medical errors, unnecessary trauma, even death and negligence claims. So introducing Caremonkey, parent-controlled electronic forms for schools and clubs. With Caremonkey, the medical form is instantly available to the people that need it. Imagine a teacher on an excursion or a coach at training with everything they need on their smartphone or on their tablet. They have instant access to emergency contacts, allergies, asthma plans, immunisations, medications, and any other care instructions from the parents. And parents love this too, because they're sick and tired of filling out the same form over and over again. But with Caremonkey, they only need to enter the details once, and any changes are not a problem. They can do a change to the form at any time, and all carers are instantly updated. So Caremonkey is helping schools and it's helping clubs fulfil their duty of care obligations. It's reducing the administration overhead for both the school and the club, as well as the burden on the parents. It's helping the school deliver better day-to-day care and to be able to respond much better in emergency situations. And it's giving confidence to the teachers and coaches that they know how to care for the kids that they're responsible for, as well as peace of mind for parents. So Caremonkey is available today at www.caremonkey.com and on the App Store. And next month we're releasing new mobile versions on Android, Windows Phone and BlackBerry. We have a new administration console for the groups, and that's being trialled by 3 schools and 3 sporting clubs on the Mornington Peninsula starting next month. In terms of monetisation, we're starting with the app being free for all creators and viewers of care profiles, regardless of the devices that they use. and an annual subscription of $99 plus $1 per care profile for the groups. We're going to market with partners, including Asthma Australia, who are willing to introduce us to every school in Australia. And later in the year, we'll be seeking international partners. Just a little bit about Martin and I. We both have more than 20 years of IT experience. Mine's been with US software companies. The highlight for me is Salesforce.com, where I had 6 good years there, including being the first employee in Asia Pacific. Martin has a really impressive track record in startups, including being the co-founder of realestate.com. We're located here in Spire 9, and we look forward to meeting with you and asking and responding to your questions. So, cheers.
Round of applause for Troy. All right, I might start at this end this time. Adrian.
Thank you. Hey Troy, how are you? Good. How long have you been at this for?
18 months.
Okay, and traction to date?
There are thousands of users on our consumer site, and they're all around the world. I don't know how they find out about it, but they do. And they're using it to create care profiles and share them with family and friends. But in the last 3 months, Martin and I have been working on this group administration.
Okay. And the reason why I ask is that I assume that you're pitching, not tonight, but basically pitching for investment?
No, we're not pitching for investment, we're just pitching for fun.
Okay. In that case, you're doing the right thing because you haven't really told me as an investor why I should really care. Yeah. I love the product as a parent, love it, and all that sort of stuff. I want you to show me the money. So talk about your traction, show me how I'm going to make money from this thing, show me why if I give you, $20 million, you'll give me back $200 million, because I think, that'd be worth it. Yeah. Thanks.
Cheers.
Hey, Troy. I'm going to be sort of honest and blunt. I found myself sort of drifting off a bit in the first sort of third, kind of half to 2/3. I was asking myself, what is it that you would need to do to kind of change that? I don't know exactly what it is, but you're obviously in kind of command of all parts of this, so kind of more passion or more pace or something there. If you're just sort of doing pitch practice, that's a bit of feedback. And sort of a combined comment question. There's a lot of moving parts here. There's the kids there's the parents, there's the institutions like the schools and the clubs, there's the teacher or the kind of coach, there's the sort of associations that work with us. There's a lot of moving parts. So how many of those do you need to kind of get moving in one direction before things start to sing?
It's the school or the club. It's the school or the club that needs to mandate the usage. So once the school says your kid can't go on the excursion or can't go on camp unless you filled in the form, the parent has to do it, because we're not giving paper forms anymore. We're using this electronic method.
And is the school or the club going to be sending out a piece of paper, or are they going to be saying Caremonkey.com?
No, the group edition, what the group edition does is it automatically sends out invites to all of the parents, telling them to fill in a Caremonkey profile instead of the piece of paper. Then it comes back electronically, and basically what we do is we create groups like classes. The profile goes in a class, the teachers go to the class, then their profiles turn up on the teachers' phones or tablets or the web.
Any comments, Stuart?
So a couple of questions in terms of, I guess, the why. So why is this an itch that you've got to scratch? And I'm sure there must be a story in there somewhere as to why you've sort of chasing that down. Actually, I'll just leave it at that.
All right.
Yep.
The why was about 18 months ago. I pulled out a piece of paper out of my filing cabinet at home, and it was the wrong piece of paper, and it was one of my boys' asthma plans. And I looked at this asthma plan and I thought, oh, this is designed to save his life, and I've got it filed away. And I actually felt like a really terrible parent, and there wasn't a solution out there for people to share these things easily. And even things like sharing your emergency contacts with family and friends and teachers and so on, there wasn't a way to do it, and that's why I started Caremonkey.
And in effect, I guess you're aggregating health records. How are you, in effect, you're aggregating health records of essentially students, groups, etc. How are you dealing with the security and privacy aspects of that?
Well, they're not health records per se, it's care information that a parent would fill in, the same information that you would handwrite on a form. We're not taking any information from doctors or hospitals or official medical records. What was your other question? That was about security and privacy. Yeah, look, that's the number one concern with anybody that uses an app like this. So it's been designed with really tight security right from the beginning. We employ professional hackers to constantly test our app and make sure it's tight. It's private. We don't rent, sell or share anyone's data. The only data that can be seen is if you've been given access by a parent.
A couple of quick comments, Jordan.
Well, first, Troy, it's good to see you again. I'm glad to see you're still pursuing this one. And the question I had is actually related to the one that Stuart just asked. Have you, particularly because you can look international for what you're doing, there are a number of other people trying to do the same thing, but I think you're in a really good spot with what you've put together so far. Have you addressed data sovereignty? And do you understand what I mean? Yeah.
Only in terms of that we can store data in the US and in Australia, but we haven't gone any further than that. Right, and I mean, we're still at...
Use against the choice?
No, well, in phase one, no. I mean, there's a million things you can do in a startup, and we're trying to get our MVP out and working well. And I mean, you can talk about things like in a care profile, you should be able to say which pieces of a care profile that this person can see versus that person. And at the moment, you see the whole profile. I mean, there's lots of things that we can add as time goes on, and we prove that there's a real want for this app.
Just a quick question, John.
Yeah, for sure. Just one comment. It was nice to see a presentation which wasn't just the standard PowerPoint presentation. Yeah, 98% of all the presentations we see are standard PowerPoint, so it's nice to see something a bit different. The provision of information, have you thought of providing more than just health information? Because we see lots of opportunities that really focus on that sharing information around teams, schedules, where they play, who's playing, and I was wondering if you actually go out and get a base around provision of care information, whether you can then take it to the next stage and provide that type of information around schedules and so on.
If this takes off, there's millions of things we can do. I mean, imagine replacing school excursion management, so an electronic excursion system, and collecting payments. And look, there's tons of things we can do, but right now we're trying to be focused. Even the way we position our app. I mean, I talked about. Like this slide's a little bit old, personally controlled medical forms for schools, clubs and other groups. Well, we're not talking about other groups anymore. And after we've done our first round of beta tests with the schools and clubs, we're probably going to drop one of them as well and be focused either on schools or clubs. Be focused and be successful in one specific area, and then we'll go for everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you give Troy a round of applause? Well done. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to go home like a rock star or like John Dyson or Lenny Mayo, Uber is giving free sort of limo rides home tonight. If you download the app, UBER, and the code is LSMAY. So Lean Startup Melbourne, but with one M. LSMAY. Uber is the app on Android and iOS, and you'll get home like a rock star. Sounds good. Who's up next? All right, Jules. We have Jules. Hey, Jules. We've probably all been in share households in our 20s, and it's someone's turn to take out the garbage, and it's someone's turn to do this, and your mum wants you to do this. So FairShare describes themselves as an easy, flexible and fun way to share tasks with your housemates or family. Ladies and gentlemen, Jules.
Thank you. Okay, hi everyone, my name's Jules. I'm from FairShare, obviously, an app that makes shared living easy. Okay, so just to start with, I just want to give this quote that Zuckerberg gave to a Wired magazine interview about 7 weeks ago, where he talks about the big trend that he's seeing right now on the internet is a massive increase in sharing within small groups. And that coupled with the broader trend of sharing increasing at a rate of 100% per year, which has been going on for over half a decade now, which if you extrapolate that forward means that in 3 years, people will be sharing 800% more than they're currently sharing today. So the opportunity that we're focused on is the household graph. So we sort of view the internet at the moment as a series of connections and these companies that are really mapping out people's personal preferences. So it might be Airbnb mapping out the rental graph or Spotify building out the music graph, and we're going to be focused on the household graph. Some of the key characteristics and nodes that surround that are cleaning, shopping and cooking. And for share houses, that also includes finances. And for families, that will include things like their children doing homework. So we want to provide a platform whereby households can very easily record, share and value the contributions that each person in that house has made. So we've surveyed share houses. That's where we're starting. Our first product will be targeting share houses specifically. And we've done a survey that was professionally designed, over 40 questions, very comprehensive. And we've had well over 100 results and found that over 2/3 of households want a cleaner house. Roughly half of their households want more shared cooking, and about 40% of households have some sort of tensions involving who's done what and how much they've done. So the solution's FairShare. It's fair because everybody has an equal opportunity to contribute. It's flexible because we monetize the value of housework, so people have the choice to do whatever task they want, whenever they want, and however much they want. And this also allows people to specialise in things that they're good at. So if someone just likes cooking, for example, they can just cook and other people can do the cleaning. It's also fun because it's a very beautiful user interface, and we're using the mailbox-like swipe technology for the completion of tasks. And it's also fun because it encourages more shared activity in the home. And it's a totally free app, and it will forever be free, so users don't have to worry about being charged further down the track. In terms of the team, we've got an almost fully formed team. We've got a back-end dev, a front-end dev. We've got our design covered with a UI guy and a UX guy. And we've also got a biz dev guy, and I'm focused on product. The one position we're missing at the moment is obviously a marketing guy. So I'll show you a few wireframes. This is, sorry, just going back. The login process we've got down from around about 8 or 9 minutes down to about 2 minutes. You can literally go through the entire onboarding process and just quickly use the default settings here, whereby we've got an estimate for how many bathrooms in the house, how long it takes, how often it should be done. If you need to change any of that, it literally takes about 15 seconds per task. And then once you're in, we've got a beautifully category screen here, whereby if you've done something, you just click on the cooking or the kitchen or whatever it may be. If you don't know what needs to be done, you can click on the priority button. We've got a back-end algorithm that ranks what needs to be done the most based on your input of when things should be done in terms of the frequency. So the vacuuming of the lounge room is 13 days overdue. It also gives how long the house estimates that task to take, so 20 minutes in this case. And the point value there of 4.2 is monetized, so it has a monetary value to it. And you can see the swipe technology on the right-hand slide there. In terms of the financial part, in terms of bookkeeping, if you want to log any bills or any rent or any shopping that you've done in the house that's communally based, you can easily input it here, record it. It can be an even split or a custom split, whatever you like. And then on the right-hand side there, you've got the profile. And so you can see Ollie, for example, he's owed $40.50. You've got the breakdown of the task that he's done to actually earn that extra credit. And you've got the total number of points at the top there. Okay, so in terms of our funding and our business model, so we're fully funded until Q2 of 14, so we're not looking for investment at this point, and we won't be for the rest of the year. It is a free app, so what is the long-term monetisation strategy? We're really focused on external services coming to the house in particular. Also goods, but the verticals we're looking at primarily are cleaning and gardening services. So we have a licensing agreement with Census to use their API to have local search capability, and we're looking at building up a licensing agreement, hopefully with Menulog for takeaway. Further down the track, particularly with family type data, we can also, because it's such a big data project and people will be using it so frequently and inputting a lot of information, we're looking at real estate and utilities in terms of if people are paying more or less than the average for their area, more or less than the average for their household size, and education will be something more around the family type of app. In terms of what we're really looking for right now is a marketing position. So as I said, we've got a 6-person team. We're looking for that 7th person. The app is fully built. We're having it where the trials are starting next week. The back end's all done. The front end's about 95% done. We're probably about 5 days off launching, and we want to have a global launch in September. So we've got about a 12-week time frame, and we're really looking for a marketing person to come on board. First and foremost, that they can identify who our early adopters are, how to communicate to them, and the most important thing is they understand our core vision. And at its simplest form, our core vision is to encourage better relationships within the house and more shared activity within the home. Not more shared activity online, more shared activity offline. So the conclusion is that we, as I said, we're ready for trials. We're not going to roll it out too broadly yet. We really want to test it properly. So if anyone in the room has a share house that they're living in, or they know anybody is living in a share house with at least 3 or more people, ideally 4 or more, where everybody has a smartphone and also where there's at least some shared cooking and shopping, we'd love to hear from you. Check it out on our website there, fairshare.im, and thank you very much.
Myself, for exactly that reason, that should be around. John, any comments or questions?
Yeah. Jules, that was a great presentation, fantastic passion, which is great to see. I have to admit, it did bring back lots of nightmares from when I used to live in a shared household and I used to get bullied by the women I lived with to do the cleaning, but that's a long time ago. One question which I would have is, can you trade off tasks for monetary considerations? So can I pay more in rent and do less cleaning of bathrooms?
Exactly, yeah. Okay, so, yeah. The algorithm works. So basically everyone inputs their value per hour of what they value for doing housework. So the default's 25, you can put it 15, you can put it 50. If it's more than 50, you probably shouldn't be using the app. But basically we take the median of the house. So if the median value of household labour is, say, $30 or probably, let's say, 25, then every task is automatically calculated in the back end a value based on that. So if you do 50 points, everything's defaulted to 100 points for the month, and if you did 50 points and the point value was $2 a point, you'll pay $100 extra for the people that were in surplus. And so it eradicates social tensions within the house permanently, whereby they never ever occur again, and because you've got this market that's seamlessly optimising the values of everything that's done in the house.
Thanks, Jules. That was a very interesting problem you're trying to solve. So I guess the question I've got is who controls the house? I can put in my profile and say I want to be paid $25 an hour, but who decides that mopping the floor in my bathroom takes 10 minutes, etc. And what happens when he disagrees and he doesn't want to give me that credit?
Yeah, we spent about 3 or 4 months on this problem. So we came to the conclusion it's the median value. So one of the core values that we've ingrained into the back-end technologies is it's all democratic. So everybody has an equal right to vote on A, the value of the labour in the house, B, how often things should be done, and C, the frequency with which they should be done. So if it was a 3-person house and they had $20, $25 and $30 as their value of labour, it's defaulted at 25. In terms of the frequency, it's again the median. So if one person said it should be done once a week and 2 people said it should be done once a fortnight, it's done once a fortnight. And the same with the time. The time is the direct correlation with the point value, and if they said it, 2 people said it's 10 minutes and one said it's worth an hour, then it's 10 minutes. And so everyone knows that system, and it's very obviously fair and reasonable. The key is to make it the mathematically fairest possible system that you can come up with.
Stuart.
I've had the privilege of seeing this one a couple of times across a couple of startup events, so it's great to see the progress that you and the team have made. One comment I would make is that I guess what I'm seeing is that the solution is evolving, but I think the problem is still yet to be fully defined. Yep. So, can you talk to me a little bit further how you're going to get at these 3+ person households? How many of them are there? All of this early adopter sort of stuff, yep. Because you could be taking your solution and then looking for the problem, and that's an expensive way to go.
Yep. Thank you. So, in terms of the number of households, we don't know exactly. We know that there's 800,000 households in Australia, share houses in Australia, and roughly 17 million in the US. And of those that are over 3, we estimate it's around 600,000 in Australia, and around about 11 million in the US. But we don't know with any more accuracy than that. In terms of how we reach them, that's something. That's the reason we're looking for a marketing person. We've got our own ideas, but none of us are experts in that field. So we're really after someone that has experience in that. And in terms of the problem we're trying to solve, we just think that because it's all free, there's no restraints to people signing up in that respect. We think that almost everybody wants better relationships with the people they live with, and almost everybody likes socialising with people they live with. So we think those two things mean it's a very, very broad problem or solution that we're offering people.
Any thoughts, Lenny?
Like Stuart, it's great to see it evolving. I really love that stuff at the start around the kind of household graph. I think that's kind of interesting. There's a big meme in the US around sort of quantified self. So you're onto sort of quantified house, which I think is quite good. The UX looks great. So big shout out to Simon on your team there. If you're looking for a UX guy, Simon, put your hand up. You'll get a rush of people. Nice work.
And Sam.
And Sam.
Yeah, and
Sam, you can put your hand up too.
And Alex is here.
Okay, there we go. Last comment, monetisation is weak.
Yeah. Yeah, we're actually not that interested in monetisation for a number of reasons. One, we can finance it for 12 months, and so we don't have to worry about external investor pressures because of that. And two, we believe the biggest risk for us is whether we can capture a large enough share of the market to justify how we actually monetise it. So we're just of the view that if we can get enough people using this, we'll work out how to solve that problem later. And the problem we need to be focused on right now is how to build a phenomenally beautiful product that heaps and heaps of people want to use, and we just want to be entirely focused on solving that problem at this point in time.
Great answer.
How many people have used the product so far, or your algorithm or whatever?
We've tested the back end on four households, just using Google Documents to use all the maths.
So, and how many of you on the team?
6 of us on the
How
team.
many full-time?
There's 2 of us full-time.
And how long have you been working on it?
How long have I been working on it?
Well, how long have the 2 of you been working on these 4 households?
Sorry, how many? Sorry.
I guess what I'm coming to is why you're presenting at a lean startup movement. Is this a lean startup, do you think?
I think it's relatively lean. I don't think it's as lean as some other startups are. But I think there are limitations to the lean methodology that can have adverse effects to some startups fulfilling their potential.
Okay. Well done, Jules. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Jules. Before we get our next picture up, I might just ask John, sometimes there's 2 sides of the fence, the people wanting the money and the people that have the money. And there's often discussion around the top 10 lies entrepreneurs tell to VCs and the top lies VCs tell to entrepreneurs. Do you want to tell us or share with us probably the topmost lie entrepreneurs may say to a VC?
Well, before I say that, I won't go in. What's the most common lie? I'd like to think that entrepreneurs don't lie to us. I actually think the issue around integrity is really important. Like, of course, most entrepreneurs never achieve their financial numbers. They obviously come in with, big hopes and huge expectations and really optimistic, but I think that's great, and you really want the entrepreneurs to believe in themselves, and you want the entrepreneurs to really believe in the story. And if they come in lying to us, obviously they're not people that we want to back. And
what about misconceptions then, Ben?
I think people always have a overinflated view about how quick it takes, and financial projections are never achieved. And people always underestimate, as I said earlier, about competition. It's amazing how many opportunities we see where they haven't really done the research to understand what competition is already in the market.
Okay. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you've all heard about Bitcoin. Next is Coinjar. And Asha from Coinjar is going to tell you about Coinjar, Bitcoin processing for standard retailers. Who wants to get into the big Bitcoin game, hey?
Everyone.
Everyone, here you go. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi everyone, we are Coinjar and we're bringing innovation to the payment space. My name is Asher. I used to work in Collins Street as an economist. My macroeconomic forecasts have been in BRW and other top Australian publications. I have two co-founders. Gerald has 10 years of professional development experience. He does work on Android, iOS, and enterprise systems. And Ryan, at 17 years old, built the world's best Bitcoin trading platform, which traded $40 million before exiting the space. What we're making essentially PayPal for Bitcoin. If you guys aren't familiar with Bitcoin, it is a medium of exchange that is purely digital and decentralized. Think of it as email, but with money. With one click, I can send and receive currency instantaneously. This isn't some far-fetched scenario. This is now, this is real, and most importantly, Bitcoin is huge. How huge? Slightly smaller, but still huge. $1.3 billion huge. That's the GDP of Belize right there. So what we are doing is, well, the problem we're solving is tapping this billion-dollar market. All these people hold Bitcoins, but they have absolutely nowhere to spend it now. So what we have is a merchant solution that beats PayPal, credit card, or any existing fiat payment solution right there. 1% flat fee, instantaneous international payments, absolutely no chargebacks, which means no scammers, and Coinjar guarantees the Australian dollar equivalent in your bank account at the end of each day. To walk you through, I go to a generic store, choose what items I want, and when I proceed to check out, I choose the far superior method of payment, Bitcoin. Just like PayPal, the user gets transported to a landing page where a real-time Bitcoin equivalent is calculated based on a weighted average of top exchanges around the world, together with a Bitcoin address where the consumer can send his Bitcoins to. This page is completely real-time, no need for a refresh. Once I send my coins there using Coinjar payment or any other wallet solution right now, this page will accept the payment and confirm the purchase. This being Lean Startup, it's all about testing methodology. So what we did is we put up a landing page with one forum post, and in just 2 days, we received 41 orders for mini computers that exceeded $1,500 in sales. This was with hardly any publicity whatsoever. Another form of validation, we've seen a lot of money come into the Bitcoin space. In the last 6 weeks alone, we've seen Peter Thiel, co-founder of PayPal, the Winklevoss twins, put money into Bitcoin, together with Y Combinator. Outside of America, Angel Cube has provided us seed funding and mentorship as part of their program as well. So lots of validation in the space and a lot of money and a lot of things moving quickly. So if you want to find out more about Bitcoin, don't read the newspapers. Mainstream media will not tell you anything new about Bitcoin. What you can do is subscribe to our newsletter, look at our blog for case studies on how we're helping e-commerce websites grow, and we also have a Bitcoin enthusiast meetup group meeting in 2 weeks. All that information is on our website, coinjar.io. Thank you.
Thanks, Asher. Could I ask who's aware of Bitcoin here, the currency? There you go. There you go. All right, John, any thoughts, comments?
Who's got some Bitcoin in it?
Yeah, who's got some? All right, okay. John.
Thanks. That was a really interesting presentation. Do you bear any risk in any of these transactions? Like, obviously, you want to be the middleman and make money on the other side, but if things go bad, do you carry any other principal risk?
What we do is we settle as fast as possible. So we have an algorithm that detects any fluctuations in the market and automatically sells our Bitcoin at the end of the day. Just like when you make a payment with Bitcoin, we transact it into Australian dollars or any fiat currency as fast as possible, so the risk is minimized.
Jordan, your thoughts?
Thanks. That's really interesting. In fact, I think it was a year or so ago, there was another Bitcoin project standing right where you're standing. I guess what you're proposing to do sounds great. It's obviously the front wave of the whole Bitcoin movement. You're an economist, so what I'd really like to do is just give a very short answer, given the time we've got. Why is Bitcoin not going to just peak and deflate? So it's gone up very, very high in value now. It's a fixed supply. So what happens when the supply really starts to rotate but actually gets deflating value?
Well, currency is only as good as people who use it. And the thing is, people believe in it now, and people are using it and transacting to it. So as long as there are people behind the money who believe in it, the currency won't lose its value. So what we're doing is helping grow the economy.
It's like a really hot, it's like a massive technology play. It's highly ambitious. So it's kind of Silicon Valley come to Melbourne. So like I get excited when I see people working on things with that profile. And then just the question, 2 out of the 4 previous presentations had a very clear ask in their presentation. Numbers 2 and 3, we're looking for ABC. Actually, Jules had a very clear ask. So what is it that you're asking for in your presentation?
I think we're asking that people get to know more about Bitcoin. Part of our job is educating people on the benefits of Bitcoin. And so what we're here to do is spread awareness, because we believe in Bitcoin, and the only way we can get our message out is to share it with as many people as possible.
Can I ask you something?
Absolutely. It'll cost you $5 in Bitcoins.
So only one person in the audience actually put their hand up when it was asked, has anyone got Bitcoin? Shall we try again? How many people in the audience have own Bitcoin? Oh, phew. Okay, so 6 out of 300, whatever the percentage is. Actually, it doesn't count from the people. Coinjar, put your hand down. Okay, 4. So isn't that a problem?
No, Lenny, that's a growing opportunity.
All right, last but not least, Adrian.
Why wasn't Angel Cube at the top of the list? And secondly, I think you have got an ask right now. You're looking for merchants and maybe platforms that you can build on. So maybe you want to ask if anybody here fits that profile. So maybe you want to ask that.
Anyone here interested in transacting with Bitcoin? Put up your hand. Well, definitely more than 6. So yeah, hopefully we'll double the numbers the next time I ask. Thank you, everyone.
Round of applause for Asher, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, just a reminder, Uber is the app. U-B-E-R. Live a Uber lifestyle and get a free limo or nice BMW home tonight. The code is LSMMAY. LSMAY. No double M, just one M. And, treat like a rock star. Sounds good. All right, last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, is George from Swatchmate. Swatchmate, if you've ever renovated your home, you know you've got to colour match with paint and all sorts of complex things. So Swatchmate bills themselves as, we make it easy for DIY renovators and paint professionals to match colour to paint databases. George?
Yep.
Hey.
Hello.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Round of applause, please.
Hello, everyone. It's not just me tonight, it's my 2 co-founders, Paul and Rocky as well. And we're Swatchmate. We're making matching colours easy. As I said, I'm looking after design, Paul's looking after business, and Rocky's our tech guy. And we all studied together and finished electronics, so we're kind of a pan team across the different fields. Australians love renovating. We love renovating because it saves us money and also the satisfaction of completing our own projects. Unfortunately, when it comes to painting, we also know how difficult it can be to match colours. And some of you perhaps have tried to match colour and had a similar result. This is a shop I came across over the weekend and had to take a photo to show you. So this is our real problem. Talking to our customers, matching colour by eye is inaccurate. Taking a physical sample to a hardware shop is time-consuming and sometimes impossible. And price is an important concern for our target DIY market. Our solution is simple. We're leveraging the market penetration and hardware capabilities of smartphones, in addition to our custom hardware attachment, to radically reduce the cost of paint matching. We're making paint matching fun, spontaneous, and affordable without reducing accuracy. We know paint matching is important, as annually Australians match over 4 million colours in hardware shops. Globally, this number blows out to over 90 million. By radically reducing the time spent on something that should be easy, Swatchmate is targeting to sell 50,000 devices in our first year. This is where we're at currently with our product. Do you want to? We've spent 2 years working to make Swatchmate simple to use, works across all paint libraries, and requires no calibration. You simply click, scan, and match. And there you go. That's that simple. Our first to market channel is through the paint industry. We're set to launch at $50, giving us our first year revenue of $2.5 million. And we see Swatchmate as a modular platform that can be extended to other key growth industries, such as automotive paints, printers and calibration, and mining. Sorry, minus, yep. To put us in perspective to our competition across affordability and portability, everything in the lower half retails for over $500. And we're set to launch at 50, and we think this is the real differentiator to address our target DIY market. To maintain our position within this competitive industry, we've got 6 world-first features that set us apart from our competition, including extreme portability, smartphone integration, and one-button operation. To validate our product, we've partnered with a number of designers and painters to use and test Swatchmate every day. We've got a number of federal and state government grants in the pipeline, with patent attorneys and suppliers ready to go. And we're also really excited to announce that we've just secured our initial purchase orders. As you can see, we've come a long way. We started as a student project at the University of Melbourne. We went on to win a few awards, and we're ready to launch by the end of the year with our final device. We're also really excited to announce that we've just made it into Melbourne Accelerator program this year, and that's starting 1st of July, so big up to them. And we're Swatchmate. Thanks for your time.
Well done, George and team. John, do you want to start off the comments?
Yeah, for sure. First thing, George, when you present, you want to talk to a crowd, like it's a crowd who's really listening to you, like you were spending a lot of time looking at the whiteboard or looking at the screen. It's great to engage with people, look into their eyes, and that's how people get excited, because at the end of the day, they're going to invest in you three much more than the project. It's all about the people. Who buys the product? If I'm a home owner, do I buy it, or do I go to a hardware shop and borrow it from a hardware shop who's bought it to allow me to match the paint I've got at home?
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, it's a good question. Because we're retailing at such a low price point of $50, and when you're looking to paint a typical room, and it costs you roughly $200, $300 to paint it. If you do a whole house, it explodes even further. We're looking to be that impulsive buy for the homeowner himself or herself to have as a reference device. It's just, it's there to use, and if you are painting, or most people have painted in their lives, it's a very practical device to have with you. So we see the DIY owner themselves purchasing the device.
But I assume paint shops could buy it as well to encourage people to paint more as well.
Yes.
They could lend it out to that homeowner.
Yeah, you could, yeah. There are current devices in Bunnings and Mitre 10 who do similar things to ours, but they retail for over $2,000. Oh, okay. So, if we can value propose to the retailer and say, we've got the same solution for $50, and you can encourage people to also buy it, I'm sure there's some synergy in there, yep.
Sure. Jordan?
Thanks. So I guess, look, I'm curious, why do you need a device? What is it, and how likely is it that whatever it is you've done in the device could be implemented to 80% with code running in a phone?
Yeah, you can answer it.
Thanks for the question, Jordan. Yeah, it's a good question, and we get that question all the time, and it's probably the most common question we do get. The problem with an app or software written to do the same purpose is you've got all sorts of factors, ambient light, you've got different resolutions of cameras, different cameras themselves taking pictures of, presumably the same surface, and each one of those will give you a different answer. So what we've actually done is made an enclosed environment for the sampling to be done on a consistent way, in a consistent way every single time, and we see that hardware attachment as being essential and as part of our IP to getting the product on the market.
Sure. Stuart, your turn.
Just a quick question on the market. Like, the average person, how many times in their life would they actually want to use this device?
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah. It's difficult to quantify without doing market research to actually know how many people on average. What we can say is that there are raw numbers for across Australia, and we can expand out globally. So we see every paint match as an opportunity to sell a Swatchmate. So when we say over 4 million paint matches, it's unrealistic to assume that 4 million people are going to buy the product and to use it 4 million times a year. But we envisage that a significant portion of those will be single purchase, single use purchases of the device itself, and when next time they come to paint, they'll have it and it's ready to go. Yep.
Just two questions. Number one, can you maybe tell us a little bit about the team? And number two, can you talk about competitive barriers to entry?
Okay. You good? Yeah, so as I briefly outlined, we all went to university together. I now work as an electronics engineer. Paul's working as a financial advisor, and Rocky's doing his master's in electrical engineering as well. So we have a broad capability across this product, and within that we've, obviously I've studied arts as well, so I've got a design background, and Paul's, in commerce. And the second question, sorry, was competitive barriers. Yes. The number one barrier for us is to retail channels and partnering with retail industry. So how to connect with Bunnings, how to connect with Mitre 10, how to connect with Masters. But we also see opportunity within that because there is this recent shift with Masters introducing a new model to the hardware market. We see it as an opportunity to bring Swatchmate at the best kind of position between Bunnings and Masters, to play them off each other in a sense. So while it is requiring of us going out and meeting with the retailers, we can also hopefully play them off each other. Yep.
Keep biting into your time. So what happens when there's like one that does something similar, and then two that does something similar, and then three that does something similar? Like looking down the road, like if you've got like a bit of a lead, what is it that you're going to do to sort of keep that lead?
And I think this gets back to us being a modular platform. We've developed it to be very simple and adaptable. So while we're entering and laser focused into the paint market, we see that as the clearest channel. We can see further growth within, like I said, automotive industry or printer and monitor calibration. And they're very easy pivots for the company to make. So if we do find competition to be too great or encroaching into our market space, we can quickly and easily adapt to address that. Yeah.
Last of all, Adrian.
You're going into an incubator, not Angel Cube, but still an incubator. So a lot of things I'll tell you, I think you'll come out through that. But number one is you're probably pitching ultimately for investment, and you're pitching a business. So I need to hear a lot more about what makes you think you can actually sell these things at $50 a pop. I want to hear about distribution and supply. Those are the three. You're doing a hardware product, you're not doing a software product. So you got to get these things made in China or wherever you're getting made, and you have to get them distributed. That's all very difficult. The other thing I would dispute is I think that I'll go buy a $19 laser leveler as a consumer product just had my cupboard. You got to do. Have you done any testing to see if $50 is a good consumer price point? Because my gut tells me that's probably way too high. And have you thought about doing your consumer testing on Kickstarter and getting a lot of money in your pocket at the same time?
Just quickly, George.
Yeah, I'll try and wrap it up. So the price point is obviously not fixed until we have the final device, but it is in relevance to our own market studies that we've done and some research with 200 and 300 people on Facebook, our friends, and trying to see people who are DIY, who have renovated, where do they fit and how do they think the pricing can affect them. And the second part of the question of Kickstarter campaigns, it's actually something we're planning to do and start in about 2 months' time. And that's one of the ways we're going to be addressing contacting retail partners is by hopefully having a successful Kickstarter campaign, raising public awareness, showing that there's a market need for it, and taking that to a retailer and say, hey, you can be part of this, and this is exciting for you for these reasons. So yeah, absolutely.
Oh, well done. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Swatchmate. Actually, could we get, could you stay on stage? Could we get all our speakers up tonight? And I'll leave it to our esteemed panel to make a choice between the 5 of you as to who you believe won the Pitch Fest tonight. And of course, they get an audience with one of these guys. And so do you want to discuss together and select a winner? According to our esteemed panel of venture capitalists and advisors, the winner for tonight's Pitch Fest is Coinjar. Round of applause. Well done, well done. And we're going to have a People's Choice Award. I've got a dB meter, a decibel meter on my phone here. So I'll start off with Ash from Tableau. Do you want to give him a round of applause? How good was he? Do you want him to win? Tom from Pet Homestay. Troy from Caremonkey. Jules from FairShare. And Coinjar, you already won. And lastly, George and the team from Swatchmate. According to my trusty app, the winner is Ash from Tableau. Round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming tonight. Can you put your hands together for our panel, some very experienced men who've come and shared their time tonight. And also every company that had the guts to get up and pitch and start something new and take on the world. Can you give them a round of applause? If you'd like to pitch, get in touch. We've got more pitch events coming up. So ladies and gentlemen, I think there's a few beers still left. Feel free to network for the rest of the next half an hour or so, and enjoy your week. Take care. Bye-bye.